democracy allows for fair hearing. This is reckless. This is ungodly.
When news break, we engage experts in critical analysis.
Do you see your party coming into power come 2019?
This administration will succeed and succeed well.
You cannot be running a 4-year tenure like you are running a 20-year tenure.
He has done fairly well, especially where insurgency and terrorism is concerned.
Then it gets controversial.
They have a right to their opinion. Can we, very interesting gentlemen, just hold on.
I am about principle and I am about form.
Now, you see, let me
say this.
So that our soldiers will be free, we should also ask for justification.
Core Digest, your #1 program for current issues.
Many thanks for staying with us on Core Digest today. Now let's shift focus. We're still remaining in the Senate. Senate versus IGP matters arising. And with me in the studio is Justice Uhuegbu, a legal practitioner. Thank you for joining us, Barrister.
Thank you.
All right, Senate versus IGP. This is a lingering issue.
Well, I have to concur with the Senate statement against the IGP. As far as I'm concerned, the conduct of the IGP is bad.
In what regard?
Yes, because it shows another level of impunity. Because constitutionally, the Senate or the National Assembly, either the Senate or in a joint session, has the right and powers to summon anybody to appear before it and to even cross-examine the person. That's what the law says. If you go to section, you see in section 88 to section 89 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, and especially when a person is holding an office that is legislated upon by the National Assembly, so they have every right to summon him. And remember, they have issued about 3 invitations which he refused to appear. I don't know whether you are aware that as of today, there is a lawsuit from the police against the leadership of the Senate.
And the Senate has declared cast a vote of no confidence on the IGP.
Yes,
on fit to hold public office within.
They had already said that. In fact, the president of the Senate has already said that the IGP has no moral standard to hold any office, any public office in Nigeria, and outside. In fact, they even went further to say and outside the country. So it's a thing of power play. And if you look at the controversy so far, so many people are beginning to, take it from the political angle or political dimension. Even some of our colleagues are beginning to argue because the two issues, I think what brought about this whole thing is because the issue of the case of Dine Melayo was mentioned, that he also have to come and address the House or the Senate about the handling or the handling of Dine Melayo and all the rest, But forgetting the fact that the major reason and issue why the Senate has been summoning him is for him to come and explain the incessant killings in recent time in Nigeria, especially in Borno and all the rest. So I don't know why we are not looking at it from that angle holistically.
Right, but then if we look at a response that came from the IGP after a vote of no confidence was declared on the IGP, a statement, a very lengthy piece. I'll just see what paragraphs, what lines I can read from it. It is on the basis of the above. We're talking about some sections of the Constitution and all that. Okay. All right. In accordance with the Acts and laws in Nigeria, the functions, duties, and responsibilities of the IGP are stated in those sections of the Police Act and regulations and all that. That a senior officer of the force of the rank of Deputy Inspector General of Police, who is permitted by the IGP to act on his behalf or represent him in an official capacity at an official function, event, or program within and outside Nigeria, can do so in consonance with the provisions of the Police Act and regulations. And that's the reason, on the basis of the above, that when on the 25th of April 2018, the Senate invited the IGP to appear before it on the 26th in respect of the felonious offenses for which Senator Dino Melaye was taken into police custody, investigated and arraigned in a court of competent jurisdiction in Lokoja. But because the IGP was an official assignment to the president, and that was when he went to Bochi, he delegated the Deputy IG, Department of Operations, Assistant Inspector Generals of Police, some commissioners of police conversant with the matter to brief the Senate. There is something called delegation.
Yeah, listen to me. You see, they did not solely summon him only because of Dino Melaye's case. Remember that Dino Melaye is a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He's a distinguished fellow, so to say. But let me not even dwell much on that. They invited him on dual capacity because of two major reasons. One, the most important one is even the recent killings in Nigeria, especially in Borno and some other states and all the rest, especially out the Offa. And we know what has happened within a space of little time. And yes, he came up with an excuse that he wants to delegate, or he delegated somebody.
Does he have the right to
delegate or not? Of course.
He has authority.
Of course, he has. But the Senate said, no, we want to see you, we want to have interaction with you.
Is it that those he delegated could not or would not be able to speak as he would?
You see, for example, let me give you an example. I'm a lawyer. I'm a principal partner of my firm. When I am in a matter, can never be the same when a partner or when a lawyer in the chambers is in a matter. And that is why even at times you go to court, clients will insist they want you to appear personally. I don't know whether you understand me. And you know, having to the fact that there was an allegation that the president sent him to go on a visitation somewhere and to go and find out what happened, he's not going to another place. So the Senate said, no, we want you. And when he now gave that excuse that he was going for an official visit, he said, okay, no problem. They gave him another time to appear, which he refused to go. They also gave him another time. What he should have done.
The second time the excuse was that he was, I think, in Kaduna to attend to
whatever reason he could not be available for whatever reason. Any reason could be given. But as a prudent person or officer, or as a patriotic Nigerian, what you are supposed to do is to write back to the Senate. I'm sorry, I won't have time, so time. Can I come so time? That is to show you interest that you want to come, since you know that they want you to come personally. It's an indication that yes, I want to come. But because I have time constraint here, can you suggest a date? As a lawyer, when we have matters in court and the lawyer will not be able to go to court for one reason or the other, and the dates have been fixed, the lawyer will write a letter seeking for an adjournment. And not just seeking for an adjournment, the lawyer will suggest dates in which he will be available. Within the days suggested by the lawyer, the court will not pick one of the days.
Earlier you mentioned
except if one of the days is not convenient for the court.
Earlier you mentioned that this is a thing of power play.
Of course.
So bit of power play. Is any of them in the right?
And again, let me tell you another thing. You see, let us also get something right here. You see, the IGP also now is basing his refusal not to go, apart from the issue of delegating somebody, which they have, you know, they talked about like this. Now, relying on the Senate Standing Rule of 2015, precisely order 53 rule 5 of the Senate Standing Rule, that makes provision that any matter that is sub judice, any matter that is in court, may not be, but there's even a caveat that may not be deliberated upon. That is where, in fact, if you look at what they filed in courts that is in public domain, that is where they are basing their argument for him not to go. Okay, even if you decide you can go and talk about national security they are asking you about, then when the issue of denominator is raised, It's an issue. You tell them at the preliminary there, well, I'm sorry, this matter is already sub judice, it's already in court. But let me tell Nigerians one thing. The IGP was first summoned in April. I think 25th of April. Why Dino Menaye's case for the first time went to court? He was arraigned on the 2nd of May. So as at that time, was it sub judice? I don't know whether you understand me. If the IGP is relying on the standing rule or standing order of the Senate, order 53-5, that the matter is already before the court, and because of that they do not have right to summon him on that same matter. As at the time they summoned him was 25th of April 2018, while Dino Melayo's case went to court for arraignment for the first time on the 2nd of May. So who is telling the truth?
All right.
Who is lying to Nigerians?
Looking through the that press statement that the police released after the IG was declared, a vote of confidence was cast on him by members of the Red Chamber. I'll take the 9th paragraph of that. It is pertinent that Nigeria Police Force informs the members of the general public that the reasons for which the Senate has summoned the Inspector General of Police is official and not personal, and the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended and the Police Act and regulations allow the IGP to delegate. Okay, we've talked on that. Consequently, the action of the Senate in its resolution against the IGP today, that was then, is a deliberate blackmail, witch hunting with mischievous motives to hand twist the IGP to pervert the end of justice in felonious and serious offenses of criminal conspiracy and unlawful possession of prohibited firearms, for which Senator Dino Melaye, who was indicted by 2 principal suspects, Kabiru Saidu aka Osama, Nuhu Salisu aka Small, arrested for several cases of kidnappings and armed robberies in Kogi State, are already standing trial in a court of competent jurisdiction. They see this as a witch hunt, deliberate hand twisting of the police.
No. You see, let me tell you one thing. Except if you are not sincere in what you are doing. The issue is this. The law says that the Senate has the right to invite you personally on your official capacity, and that's what makes it difficult for the IGP to even send a delegate. He's acting on an official capacity as a person. If a matter goes to court, the IGP can delegate anybody to go. But when the Senate summons you, you were appointed by an enabling law, by the Constitution, and you are under the Constitution. If you check section 89 sub 1c of the Constitution, it says empower the Senate to summon any person. Any person. It did not say any authority. The Senate did not summon the Nigerian police now. They summoned the IGP as a person. And that makes it impossible for him to delegate somebody to go. So what I'm trying to say in fact is that the IGP cannot rely on his power of delegation under the Police Act. The Police Act cannot override the provisions of the Constitution, which is the grand norm. Because Constitution have said they have right to summon any person as a person. While the IGP now is trying to rely on the Police Act. So the law of the Police Act and the Constitution, which one is supreme? You know, when we want to play politics, we don't do it, let it be healthy. We must do the right thing.
You know, over time, really, people have asked questions as to if the Senate has to always invite people to appear before it. Persons, positions of authority. Is it over every issue? Because really, a lot of issues have a reason as to that. The frequency of invitation that the Senate, tenders to people.
It doesn't matter. It is immaterial. The most important thing there is this: are they acting within the ambit of the law?
And in this case, are they?
Yes, in this case they are. In fact, it is not even for the IGP to determine what is legal or illegal for the reason why he's being summoned. No. You are not the court of law. Your own is to comply with the law. If you not go there and feel that the reason why they are calling you, you feel that it is illegal, you cannot go to court. A court of competent jurisdiction will not interpret the powers, the omnibus powers of the National Assembly as indicated and enshrined in Section 8 of the Constitution.
Before the president went on his 4-day trip to London for medical checkup, the leadership of the National Assembly visited him. Speaker of the House of Representatives, President of the Senate, they both visited and they reported the IG to him.
Yes, you see, the IGP is an appointment, is a political appointment. Let me put it that way. And because it's a political appointment, the office also is recognized by the Constitution. And because of that, it is under the law and must not act outside the scope of the law. Let me read this to you. Section 89 sub 1 of the Nigerian Constitutional Act amendment say, for the purpose of any investigation under Section 88 of this Constitution and subject to provision thereof, the Senate or the House of Representatives or any committee appointed in accordance with Section 62 of this Constitution shall have powers to summon any person in Nigeria to give evidence at any. Okay, let's take the.
All right, Peter. We apologize for keeping you so long on the line. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, boss. And good morning, Mr. Justice.
Good morning.
I've seen Mr. Justice on the show, gladdens my heart because he's a man. I say, speak the heart of Nigeria. You're doing a very good job on Core TV. I watch you too on Galaxy. You're doing a very good job. Keep it up. You're speaking the minds of Nigeria. Boss, permit me first to just maybe make a correction over something I said some time ago while we were on the show. When before I talk about the main topic, and I'll be brief about it. That was when I talked about this APC changing their what do you call it, logo and broom, packer and it comes like I said that, but you know when you were giving your analysis, you didn't get me what I meant. I'll say this. The essence of it is, I'll tell you, the formation of APC having that group was for the fact to sweep off the debt and the things they believe are bad in the society away. And now me coming up with the idea of a packer and a refugee dog to make sure that the society able to pass them away and be able to dump them in a refuge dump so that they don't come back. But it's so unfortunate, since they don't have the packer and the refuge dump, it is blowing back into the same party, and that's why we're having what we're having now in government. Let's get back to the issue. I'll tell you this about it. It's so unfortunate that we don't have leaders, we don't have representatives, we have people who have gotten into power out of our callous act mysteriously, and it's showing everywhere today in government, in places where we have people representing. People don't respect the law. People believe on what they feel they should do, and it has got a long way that it is based on who you stand for, who you believe on, that tells what and how the game is played.
Thank you very much, Peter, for speaking to us.
Yeah. Like what I was trying to say, if you look at that section, say to summon any person in Nigeria to give evidence at any place or produce any document. They have the right to compel him to produce any document or other things in his possession or under his control and examine him as a witness and require him to produce any document or other things in his possession under his control.
So what do you think has brought us to that level where summons are offered? The Senate summons an individual, a public office holder, and he doesn't.
It's impunity. Is there any other thing? When there's, you see, I'm sorry to say, I'm not. In fact, I'm not. I won't say I'm sorry. I'm baffled to say that. You see, this present administration, I don't know the kind of advisors, but what baffles me is that there are lawyers who have the Attorney General. Every department of the executive have its own legal team. Do you understand me? Because when you begin to match the three organs of government together, it cannot work. You only get collusion. You only get confusion. Fella saying a confusion be that. And that's what we're getting today. The three organs of government must work separately. Each of them has its own powers, as stated and enshrined by the Constitution. People that are talking about Dino Melaye, yes, let's even agree it's because of Dino Melaye. At least one of the reasons. Does the National Assembly or the Senate also have powers and right to summon the IGP to explain things, or the conduct, or the way he was treated, or detention of anything of Dino Melaye or any other Nigerian? And the answer is yes.
Okay, I like the second part of that. To say you added and any other Nigerian. Because okay, here I'm not, of course, definitely I'm not supporting either of the teams.
Yes.
But if you look at this issue, you ask questions as to when has the Senate, when before now has the Senate invited the head of the police or the head of the military because a member of the public was molested or was treated in a way unbecoming, in a way that infringes on that person's rights as a citizen. If we cast our minds back to the issue of the immigration boss, Colonel Hamid Ali, it's raised so much furor because eventually we were not hitting the nail on the head. The concern was not on whether or not he was wearing a uniform. And so people were concerned about, is that what the Senate should be focusing on the issue of, the porous borders, importation of items that are banned.
Remember that one of the reasons, or one of the major reasons why the Senate invited him, the immigration boss, was for national interest. When they wanted to start arresting and impounding vehicles that have been registered for long, which will fall back to the citizens.
But eventually, did we stay on that matter?
Yes,
but the matter shifted to talking about whether or not he wore his uniform.
Yeah, no. But the issue of him appearing without uniform became an issue. Why? Because he is representing an office. I told you that as far as I'm concerned, we're no longer practicing democracy, because the norms and the characteristics of democracy will have killed it in this administration. Now, I was trying to make a point that aside from the major reason was even the recent killings and insecurity in Nigeria. That's why he's been summoned. Now added to the issue of Melaye. Let's not even go to the issue of Melaye. Like I said, they have the right to invite the IGP for the issue of Melaye or any other citizen of Nigeria.
And that was when I raised the question as have they done that as any Nigerian?
The police, the powers to search. I want Nigerians to know this. The powers to search, arrest, detain, or prosecute any person in Nigeria is donated to the police by an act of the National Assembly, which the IGP was trying to rely, which is basically part 4 of the Police Act. Now, when the police exercise that power of search, arrest and detention, prosecution, or prosecute any person in Nigeria, they are merely executing a law made by the National Assembly.
Okay.
I don't know what now, because the law says section 881BI said that the Constitution, if you look at it, it says the Senate is embodied with the power of carrying investigation into the conduct of affairs or any person, authority, ministry or government department charged or intended to be charged with the responsibility of executing or administering law enacted by the National Assembly. That's why I say, are there lawyers? There are lawyers in the police force. Must you always play to the gallery? Are they not seeing the provision of the law of the Constitution? The Police Act you are relying is an act of the National Assembly. And the law says that any law enacted by the National Assembly, any person who is charged with the responsibility of discharging such law, the Senate or the National Assembly has the right to summon that person to give evidence, even cross-examine. So what are we talking? Why must you play politics with everything?
Now that the issue of Senator Dino Melaye has, entered into or infiltrated all of this, and it seems we are looking at different issues on a platter, because now the focus doesn't seem to be just on the spate of killings, the state of insecurity, but also there's an aspect of denouement in all of this, and then that part of it is making the police believe that all they are doing is on the right.
No, is that what I'm trying to say? With what I have told you now and analyzed, even if it is only for the issue of denouement that is being summoned, the question is, do they have the right to summon him or not for that reason?
Do they?
The answer is yes. I have said it now. The IGP,
and if he considers it,
he cannot.
If he considers there are several other issues that are important,
he does not have right to consider. The IGP is acting by powers confined on him by the Police Act. The Police Act is an act of the National Assembly, and the Constitution says that the National Assembly has the power to summon any person who is administering any act of the National Assembly.
We have David calling from Taraba State. Good morning, David. Thank you for joining us.
I really don't know why all of a sudden everybody in this regime is beginning to feel bigger than the law. Everybody in this regime is becoming bigger than Nigerian Constitution. Why will this Senate representing Nigeria call on one person come in your capacity as an IGP, somebody that should protect Nigeria? We should run to you, and you are refusing to come and explain to us the incessant killing in our nation. I think with this whole thing, I'm tempted to say the IGP has something that he needs to tell Nigeria. Because for him not to want to show up in the Senate is wrong. And Nigeria should rise up. It is time for us to come up and begin to voice out that anybody that is not fit, I wonder what the Character Commission is doing. Probably they should check the character of the IGP, and call him to order. If he's not fit to hold up that position, he should resign, or he should be fired and sacked immediately. Because Nigerians are dying, Nigerians are crying, and Nigerian blood is being split on a daily basis. Please and please,
thank you so much for speaking to us on the program today. Now, a vote of no confidence has been cast on the IG. What is the implication of that?
Well, it goes to impute on his character as a person. Unfortunately, we are in a country where it doesn't matter. Last time, I understand, or I read that the Prime Minister of which country is that? I've forgotten. He walked into the meeting late. And by the time he came, the parliament summoned him. By the time he came, they had already discussed the reason why they called him. And immediately he left there, he tendered his resignation. Can it happen in Nigeria? So that is, you cannot, that's what I'm trying to do. That is to tell you you see, let me tell you, my people of Nigerians. You see, I think we should begin to look at, a new set of Nigerians that have the mindset and that patriotic in nature. This issue of appointments by settlement and all the rest is killing us. Like somebody said, it's like there's something they're hiding. Section 88 sub 2 of the Constitution went further to say that the powers conferred on the National Assembly under the provisions of these sections are exercisable only for the purposes of enabling it to. That is when they summon you, when they give invitation for you to come, explain certain things, put questions to you, cross-examine you, and there are certain things they want to find out. One, these are those things. Make laws with respect to any matter within its legislative competence, and correct any defect in existing laws. 3, expose corruption, inefficiency, or waste in the execution or administration of law within its legislative competence and in the disbursement of administration of funds appropriated by it. Look at these 3 things. What do they want to find out? 1, to find out legislative incompetence, correct any defects in existing law, to expose corruption inefficiency. So when somebody does not want to his inefficiency to be known, or if there are corrupt level of corruption, the person will want to evade.
All right, let's look at it from this angle. Someone called earlier and spoke about respect. Nigerians should learn to respect the lawmakers and all that. So if it is appearing that there is something about lack of respect or disrespect in this scenario, how do we change the trend? How do we get to that level where the Senate, the House of Reps, the legislature takes its place as an arm of government and does its work effectively? Remember, some members of these hallowed chambers are themselves answering to some charges regarding corruption and other issues. Well, of course, those matters are in courts. They are neither guilty nor free. They are still suspects, as the case is. But then, at times you're invited like that and just look at it. Okay, who are the people inviting me?
You're going too far.
So look at that.
What we are saying is this: let us, for once, do the right thing. What does the law say? The young man said, we now lack respect. He said this administration now lack respect for lawmakers and for the law. I'm not even concerned about the lawmakers. We're talking about the law. For the fact they are there as lawmakers and the constitution is still the grand norm. The 1999 constitution as amended is still the grand norm and is supposed to be supreme over every person, including Mr. President. All of us are subject to the constitution, to the law. And now, some of these things begin to happen. Who do we blame? But I love what is happening. You know why?
Do you know?
Fine. So that they themselves there will know what the ordinary citizens are going through. Go to court. You see so many every day filing of fundamental human rights applications and all the rest. Get a judgment against the police or against any force in Nigeria, it becomes impossible to enforce and all the rest. Now you ask yourself a question, but we are saying we want a society, we want an organized society. See.
So how do we achieve that society? Because that's very principle.
It's very simple. It's just for us to look for people who believes in rule of law and equity.
Who are those people?
He who comes to equity must come with clean hands. That is just the thing. And that is why we must be careful in 2019. Let us know the kind of people we say we're electing. I keep on sounding a note of warning. I'm telling INEC, they are supposed to live above board. INEC should begin to know now that they are the only arm or the only department or the only agency now that can salvage this country, that can help Nigeria to move forward. How? By making sure that the mind of the people speaks. By making sure that if somebody wins an election with only one vote, make sure you announce that election simply the way it is.
All right, then we hope we'll have a very fair, free and credible election come 2019, and even those that would hold before then would also be free, fair and credible. I must thank you very much for being on the program today. I've been speaking with Justice Uhuegbu. He is a legal practitioner. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you. This is my pleasure.